Hi, everyone. Alayna was just reading us a book. She just bought it for me and Jessy for Christmas, and it's called Untamed by Glennon Doyle. She was just sharing with us a little part of this chapter where it talks about like self-sabotage and how we self-sabotage ourselves with this ache that we feel.
That's what the author calls it.
Right. The ache. So anytime anything's like going good, or you start to like love something or someone, this ache interrupts and tells you basically that this person's gonna die. And hold yourself back. Don't fully go there because something bad could happen.
Yeah, this could end.
Right. Do you want to read us a little bit of it?
Yes. If you don't have her book, you should probably get it. It's just a bunch of little stories, and she tells all these ways of how she lost herself and ways of how she found herself in just these little stories. But this particular one is called Aches, and it's on page 81. And she just talks about how her therapist had happened to say to her, "Glennon, you say you're fine, but you aren't. Your eating disorder could kill you. You know that. What you don't know is that since you refuse to feel all of this, since you won't join us in the land of the living, you're half dead already." Because Glennon was an alcoholic. She had severe bulimia, like from the time she was 10 years old, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But she was just trying to shove and shove and shove and not feel, and that happened to be what worked for her. Like she
just
says,
pushing it down,
yeah. Like she says, bulimia is private. I need a way to silence the ache in public too. That's what booze is for. Booze overpowers the ache. Instead of just interrupting love, it blocks it completely. No connection is real, so there is nothing risky for the ache to bother interrupting. Over the years, I learned that the bonus of booze is that it destroys all of my relationships before I can. You can't lose people who never even found you.
Damn.
Anyway, she talks about this ache she feels like with her grandma. When my grandmother Alice whispers her evening rosary, I spy on her. She is the master of the universe, there in her rocker, controlling everything on earth, keeping me safe. Just as I become lulled into peace by the rocking, the ache points and says, "Look at how bruised and papery the skin on her hands is. See how they shake?" So it's keeping her from running over there to be with her grandma in the chair. Like, I can think of several times where have held myself back from showing love or telling someone how they feel. Like, even when I went to say goodbye to my grandma Mellon just a month and a half ago, and she was laying in her hospital bed in her room, like, there were things I wanted to say, but I couldn't say them. It was like my throat chakra just shut off because I was gonna cry if I said it, and I was like, I don't want to cry. I don't want her to know, like, how upset I am. But also, like, obviously I wish I said those things to her. I'm not super attached to that because I know that she knows how I felt. You know, I feel good about that. It's not like I'm living in regret, but I couldn't tell her how I felt.
It's almost like you don't want to accept that is a reality, so you're running from it.
Yeah.
It's like you're afraid to tell her because then if you actually tell her and get the words out and say the thing, then it becomes real.
It's, yeah.
And it's like, damn,
100%.
This is actually happening and this is real and I'm going to lose her. And then you have to face all of that pain and all of those feelings. But that's the hard part with blocking it with, you know, booze or marijuana or any drug, any type of TV. It doesn't even have to be a drug, right? TV. We talked about a lot about this on our last episode with addiction. Like, you know, the problem with that is you're constantly running and then you're never fully able to deal with the things that are happening in your present life. And, you know,
like her therapist
hold
said,
you back.
You're already half dead.
Right.
Yeah.
You are. When you live on, like, in that state, you're dead.
Yeah.
Like, it's sad.
It makes me so sad hearing all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything you're reading.
Well, because it's just
sad.
it's so true.
I know we talk about, like, duality a lot.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it's like, this earth can be so sad, right?
Yeah.
And of course there's, like, the whole beautiful side to it, but holy shit, sometimes, like, that shit's so depressing.
It's so dark and
Like,
it's so painful.
Yeah, this realm, this earth, like, it is a trippy place.
Yeah.
How dark it can be, right?
Yep.
It's so confusing
that
to
freaking,
me.
What are we in? Third dimension.
Third dimension, yeah.
Right.
Damn, we're trying to connect the body, the mind, and the spirit in the third dimension.
Right.
It's the hardest one.
It is so
Gotta
hard.
take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath.
Let's all do it together collectively. All of us go through that as well. Exactly what she's describing. All of us go through that running and not wanting to feel and not wanting to be in what we're feeling because it is too much.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It's like, I don't know. I think I've talked about this on a previous episode. Like with marijuana for me, like I noticed for a long time I was using marijuana as a way to numb out that ache and that pain and those things that I don't want to face. Like I have a very, very hard time crying and like letting myself be there to let the emotion out. And like I feel like I spent a lot of my life running from that. And like something that has helped me with all of that is to be, you know, allow myself to like feel that pain and that like sadness and that ache like as much as I possibly can until I'm at my edge where I've felt it so much. I've, you know, felt that all day long and I'm finally at the point where, you know what, I need a fucking break. I think it's okay. Smokable. You know why you're doing it. You're aware that you're doing it to numb that pain, but guess what? You've rode the edge. You've sat with that for all day trying to fully feel into it and let yourself, you know, let it be there, and then all of a sudden you release and you let yourself have a little bit. It's almost like self-love, you know, allowing yourself to numb out and watch the TV for a second. Sometimes that can be self-love.
Oh, yeah.
But it all comes with the awareness and, like, being aware that you're doing that to numb out rather than just numbing out.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, 'cause you're feeling it. You're
That's
right.
I love when you talk about that because you were talking about that last week too, and it's like, I think I have a hard time with that where I like resist numbing out or whatever because I know that it's not healthy.
Right.
But I like your approach to it way better because if you're just like aware that you're doing it.
Right. It's like self-compassion. It's like being compassionate that you have to numb out for a second. Like, it's okay. I'm human and I get to do this.
Yeah.
I've sat in it long enough. You can even go deeper into a spiral if you sit in it
for too long.
Then you're in a deep spiral and mentally you can't even get out of it. So it takes way longer when if you just allowed yourself to have a little compassion and numb out for a second, it's okay.
Yeah.
You're human, you know? It's a beautiful way to think about it.
We live in a crazy world now. It's like, how do we adapt all the time when everything's like always going, where things used to be like simpler? It's like you didn't have to like escape so much, and now it's like I feel like you have to constantly, you know, take the time to recharge because there's just so much happening all the time.
So much coming at you 24/7 with social media and the internet and
it's all the internet.
Family
it's 100%. It's all the internet. It's in your face constantly.
It's way more, you know?
I mean, you're in touch with people that really, if we didn't have cell phones, we wouldn't ever talk to again. People from high school, from the past, like pictures, memories. So
think about in like the olden days when they didn't have technology, like how peaceful life could have been.
I think about that all the time.
I wish I wish I was born like way earlier than I was because I mean, you watch old movies, like there's this old movie with Matthew McConaughey, and I can't remember what it's called, but he was a teen and they were at the bowling alley, like 17 years old, and I died looking at that. Like, how fun. They're all talking and connecting. If you liked someone, you had to physically go up and be like, hey, you're cute.
And think about now, like we can't do that. No. Like it's so uncomfortable to even like be rejected. Like rejection is like huge right now, you know? For people to go up and like be rejected just like tears your whole world apart when it's just a part of life. That's just what happens. Like, but we're so disconnected in that way, you know? It's like we could send a text instead of, like, facing the person and being in their energy and, like, feeling the rejection. But, like, I just think about, I, like, have this dream life where it's, like, I live in the mountains in this cabin and, like, I just wake up every day and I have no technology and I'm able to just like look at the mountains and just breathe and wake up with that instead of waking up with my phone vibrating because I gotta get the fuck up. Like,
you know, like going off.
Honestly, could you imagine how peaceful life would be if that was the case? Yeah. But guess what? It's not going to be that way ever. So it is learning to adapt and learning to just like be.
Guys, we need to just buy a big ass lot somewhere in the boonies and live off the land. Get some chickens, go chop wood.
It's always what I want to do.
Literally. Like, we might be doing that soon.
I hope so. I hope it happens.
With shit that's going down. Me and Bryce have been talking about it a lot. Like, we need to get a lot. We need to have a house
We
that
need
has
chickens.
a fireplace in it, and we need chickens. Like,
seriously.
you know?
Honestly.
And some herb, like seeds stored up
Right.
to plant, right?
Seriously.
Like a garden, and like live off the earth. Oh my gosh.
It's a lot of work.
Oh,
Hell
it's,
yeah.
But I feel like it's so different than
good
working.
work.
Like,
It's good
Right.
you know what I mean? Going to work every day. It's like
You're going to make somebody else money.
Mm-hmm.
And just, like, what? How
Well,
did we get here?
My coworker, she's from Mexico, and her family owns like a ranch in Mexico. But that's pretty much what everybody does in Mexico. Is they all like
ranch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you call it in Spanish, is like, but you call it that in English too, but I feel like it doesn't sound normal the way I'm saying it.
Right.
Like, do we call it a ranch? What do we call it?
Yeah, you do.
Do you?
Yeah,
okay.
ranchers.
Yeah, they're rancheros.
Mm-hmm.
But,
there you go. Just like living off the land and...
Well, it's just different. It's like they work a lot because they have a whole ranch that they're running, right? Like, they have, like, animals they have to take care of, and they grow, like, all these different vegetables and stuff, you know, like, all these different crops. And it's, like, work, but it's on their land. And it's not, like, the same as, like, going to a job every day, because you're, like, working with your family, and... I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes. You're
like
making
way
your whole,
different.
like, your own village.
Yeah.
And you're like putting so much love and intention into what you're doing every day. And like, think about when we go to work, like, at least for me, I go to work and I've been working at the same place for 7 years.
Yeah.
I shut off mentally and I just go into
You're
this
like, let's get this done.
Yes, I just do it.
Yeah.
I just do it.
No,
and
totally.
then it's like, oh, okay, well, now there's almost my entire day's gone from just like going in this like mode where I just do. And I'm not really putting intention into it. I'm so used to doing the same thing every single day that it's just like it's like autopilot. You just go on autopilot. Like, we're not as present. Like, thinking about growing like food and planting and having a garden. Like, you have to have a green thumb too. Like, you have to like get in the dirt and see what's wrong and like fix the like, it's so present. That way of living is being so present.
Oh,
I think we do
I
that a lot.
for that.
Yeah, we run from being present. You know?
I feel like I'm always trying to like make more time to be present. Yeah. Isn't that funny? Where I could
beautiful.
but I feel
it's like a contradiction.
It is, because I could just be present in what I'm doing.
Instead of focusing so hard on forcing it.
Well, no, I'm like, well, maybe that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm like, okay, I have to go to work so that I can come home and be present. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, let me go to work and finish everything as fast as I can so that I have time to come home and be present and not be rushing.
See?
It's a contradiction. For sure.
But really, I'm putting myself in a jail because I could be present all day at work.
And have a totally different experience than I'm just
It's
going to
hard.
get all this done. It's so fucking
really hard. I
It's so
try.
hard.
But it's hard for me. I can't
Oh my god. So
Yeah.
I have to just get into myself for just a second.
No, please do.
Yeah.
So I have this really weird thing, and you know, because I wrote about it in your book. But I like to make eye contact with people to see if I can like get them to freeze.
I'm glad we're talking about this.
See, look, now that we are talking about it, now it's like way more freaking like intimate, right?
It's so intimate.
Yeah.
So I did it to the guy at Del Taco the other day. So I went to go get cheesecake bites. Have you guys had those?
Oh my gosh. I've been in love with those since college.
I think I've had
They
them.
are
They're so
probably
good.
the number one dessert I've ever had.
From Del Taco.
Oh my gosh.
Really?
So good.
Oh my gosh, like death. Don't try them.
It's like deep fried cheesecake with caramel inside. Oh,
it's like a
gosh.
chimichanga kind of with caramel and cheesecake like melted in it.
It's the best thing.
Okay.
And
I've had
this
like
big.
the churro, like the stuffed churros. Is like a
It's
churro.
kind
better
of like
than
that, but
churros.
churros aren't that good.
It's not like the outside of a churro though.
It
It's
kind of
cheesecake?
is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
maybe I've had
cheesecake
it.
and caramel.
It's so good.
Well, and I do it to Bryce too. Like I'll try to get him to connect with me on that level, and I'll be like, "Look at me," and he can't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's so freaking intimate. But when me and Sadie were talking about this last week, when you make eye contact with someone, you can't think.
Yeah.
Because you're like in this. Like
the zone.
Do you notice I'm always staring at you when you're talking? I'm always like trying to look in your eyes, I feel like.
I love it.
Yeah.
But
keep
Go on. I know what
People
you're
don't do it
saying.
now.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to do that because it makes you, oh shit, they're looking at me.
Yeah.
You can see me.
It almost
You're like,
brings
what are
presence.
they thinking?
It does bring presence.
Yeah.
I did it to the guy at Del Taco, and he, like, panicked. Like, I could tell that he was like, oh my god, she's looking at me. Oh my god. And, like, I just kept doing it. And I kind of like to make people feel uncomfortable. Like, Bryce is like, God, you're a fucking weirdo. But I like...
It's beautiful, though.
I
You're
like
bringing
it.
presence.
Yeah, and people feel seen.
Yes.
And then they kind of like that guy at Del
I
Taco
feel like
got
that's
all,
the
like,
most important part of it is, like, making
Yeah.
people feel seen and just being able to, like, smile at someone. Like, it just, like...
It makes a difference.
Yes, like, making connection.
Yeah.
You know, instead of, like, just ignoring everyone, like, how we do all the time. We all just act like, oh, like, I'm just doing my own thing. And, like, we don't want to, like, freaking connect with people. But
It's
that's
so
really all that
uncomfortable.
anybody wants, I feel like.
That's all anybody wants. We all want the same thing.
Yeah.
Connection and love and...
Today, too, I was, like, when my brother left work, because we were talking about this earlier, I did this weird thing where I, like, turned into my dad. I was, like, holding on to him, and I was staring him in the eyes, and I was like, are you okay? And my dad always does that to me. He's like, are you sure? Like, you would tell me? And he's, like, would hold on to me, like, that same way.
Look
And I
at
was
you
like,
in the
okay,
eyes.
sorry, I just turned into my dad. But, yeah, it was, like, I was staring him in the eyes, like, look at me in the
You're like,
Yeah.
I'm
eyes,
here.
like,
I'm here.
yeah.
You can feel someone's soul when you do that too, you know?
Yes,
People say
and-
eyes are the window to the soul. You really do feel into, like, are you being honest? Are you being truthful? Like, are you, like,
Exactly.
are you feeling authentic? Like, okay, this is a little experience I'm going to share.
Please do.
So, I was at a show one time, a rave, okay? And it was the first time I tried LSD. And that was something that was so prevalent for me, is looking at people's eyes. And literally when I was on that, I mean, you're on a whole different, like, energy level. Like, you're on a different plane than everybody else. And, like, looking at someone in the eyes, you could literally feel their whole field. Like, if they're going through something hard, if they're, like, okay, if they're happy, if they're having a good time, if they're trying to fake it. Like, you could literally feel all of that. And it's like, it took me doing that LSD to recognize that, holy shit, I can tap into this not on drugs too.
whenever you want.
Yeah.
Yes, we all can. We're just not aware of that level of reality with other people, you know? And, like, I don't know, I think it's such a beautiful thing. And us, like, doing that and just, like, looking people in the eyes also, you were, like, kind of being a mirror for them of the insecurity. It's like,
Yes.
you do it and then they feel insecure and then they think, like, oh, why am I feeling so insecure? Like, that person was looking me in the eyes. Like, maybe they do, maybe they don't. Maybe they're not aware. But
Yeah. Oh, he knew.
it kind
He knew
of
something
brings
was up.
healing in a way.
I might have come off like a total freak, like Bryce said. God, you're weird. But I just...
Yeah.
I don't think that's weird.
I like
do
it.
shit like
that
I'm like,
too.
I like to do that to people.
Yeah.
Like, if you do that to people and just give them certain eyes and, like, make it intentional, then,
Yes.
like, guys, just try it.
yeah.
Just freaking try it. It makes people panic, and it's kind of funny, but, like, people come back. Like, they want more of it.
And it, like, makes you feel better, too, because, like, I don't know, you're being in the moment with that person.
Yeah.
Like, you're more present, you know? It's like, I don't know. Have you guys ever heard of, like, eye gazing?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I was going to say.
That's so beautiful. And
Have
anyone
you done
listening, yes, anyone listening should try it. I tried it at a retreat, and I sat across from this guy, and you stare at each other in the eyes for 5 minutes. And you, like, listen to music and stuff while you do it. You can if you want, but it's so uncomfortable, especially when it's someone, like, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
We were, like, laughing at certain moments and just, like, oh, like, you want to look away so bad. But once you get past that, like, initial awkwardness, it's, like,
It's pure love.
you can see this whole person, like, his face started shifting into different faces and different ages. And, like, I was seeing this whole, I don't even know how to describe it. Anyone try, because just try to stare at each other for 5 minutes. Do it with somebody and just try and see what happens. Because literally, it is so beautiful.
Yeah.
You feel so connected after. Like, we just hugged. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, you're a lifelong friend. Just from staring at them for 5 minutes in the eyes. It's like,
Wow.
damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so connecting, you know?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
I feel like every time I hear about eye gazing, it's like impossible not to cry.
Yeah.
Basically.
You need to do that with Jose. Have
I
you ever
know.
done that?
We've done it only like one time, but
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't like fully.
Do it for
Yeah.
a certain amount of time. Set like a
Yeah.
timer and just do it for 5 minutes. Even 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 5 minutes is a long
5 minutes is a long time,
No,
but it
I
gets you
always
there.
like want to
Yeah.
do it, yeah, and then somehow we're just like too lazy or something. You know
Well,
what I
it's,
mean?
it's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's
we're like,
uncomfortable to
we'll
like
do that
make
a
the
different-
intention
we'll eye
to
gaze a
stare at
different
each other.
night.
Yeah, It is so intimate.
Hey, Jose, you want to eye gaze to get the ball rolling tonight?
He knows. Like, I used to always tell him, like, okay, we're going to eye gaze for 5 minutes, and then maybe we'll want to do it.
Aw, see, that's cute.
love that.
I just try to get Bryce to look at me when I hug him.
Yeah.
He avoids eye contact a lot.
Yeah.
And I know that's just coming from a place of, like, him not wanting to be vulnerable, which is totally an alpha, so I get it, but it's like, I'm your wife.
I'm your wife, be vulnerable
You're
with
like,
me.
it's just me.
Yeah.
I heard, too, with, like, hugging, if you hug, what way is this? With your right arm up? Like, I think each person with their right arm up, then your hearts touch.
Oh, I love
Does that make sense?
Does
I
it?
think. Well, I
with
guess
your
it
right
doesn't
arm
matter.
up and your left. I think it's both ways.
I think
you
it's
just
both
are
ways.
the closest. You're the
it's
closest
both ways,
together.
but I think if your arms are like out at a diagonal,
is
the difference.
You have one arm on top and one arm on the bottom.
Yes, instead of hugging around.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like instead of like on top of their shoulders, doing like one underneath,
so then
one above.
you're diagonal and you're both like crossed. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then your hearts touch each other and it's like
I
the
love
best
heart
way to
hugs.
hug.
It is.
Yeah.
I love that.
I always want to like practice that, but I feel like I forget in the moment to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful thing.
Anyway. What
So
else
I guess
do you guys
tonight,
want to talk about?
Tonight we're talking about connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Talking about too, like, not being present and stuff. Like, I just got back on Hinge, so I've started dating again. And it is a very... I'm noticing my walls and my aches that I try not to, you know, feel into with dating because I'm so afraid. Even just, like, going on a date with someone, like this kid that I was talking to, like, the first thing he said was, like, when are you free so we can get this thing going?
Oh,
and I was like,
You're like, damn.
oh, I'm like, damn, okay. I mean, it is forward, but also...
kind of
Some
sexy.
people, some
Kinda
people are like that.
Yeah.
They don't want to sit there and just text. Like
waste
they want to
time
meet and like hang out
it's
with
like,
each
let's
other.
meet and see if
Yeah.
it's gonna work or not.
Right. Let's
I
not
kinda
waste
like
time.
that.
Me
Did
too.
you meet up with
See,
him?
but that is uncomfortable for me. Not yet because that's uncomfortable
You're
for
like,
me. I was like,
text
damn,
back,
I kind of like it. But then also like thinking about going to hang out is like, like I'm scared.
Totally.
I'm scared to open myself up and like, I don't know, because I'm afraid. You know.
Did you respond?
Yeah, I did. I was
you
like.
did?
Yeah, but see, even when I responded, I said something like, well, I'm busy most of the time, but we can find something that works. And it's like, just so that I have that cushion.
No,
because I'm
exactly.
uncomfortable. And it's like, damn.
You didn't want to.
It's scary. Also because I've been through so much trauma in my last relationship. And, like, I'm in a place right now where I feel good. Like, I've been single now for 2 years. Like, I have my own home. And I am, like, safe in my own space, and I feel good, and I have all of my own emotional things going on, all of my own stuff, and I am just dealing with my own stuff right now, and thinking about, like, dealing with somebody else's, like, emotions and feelings, and having to, like, be that person to deal with all that in a relationship, like, hell no, I don't want to. So I have this, I have this wall up, and I told Mariah yesterday, I was like, honestly, at this point in my life, I think I could be, like, polyamorous.
Yeah.
Where I just go and date a bunch of different people at the same time and just, like, have that base level of connection with all these people.
Yeah.
Like,
That sounds so good.
doesn't that sound amazing?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what I want. And also, like,
That sounds good.
I want to just see what's out there. Like, I've never allowed myself the space to just date people.
See what
You
you
want to
like.
be
and
like
see what I
tied
like.
down.
Yes. Like, I kind of
Such
just
a
want to say
commitment.
yes to everything and just experience new
Yes.
people.
Totally.
And people that I probably would never really go out with and just see what it's like. Just to experience what kind of people are out there. But also,
you
that's
wanna know
scary
what's
to
funny
do.
though is like I said that same exact thing,
And then you found Jose.
and then I freaking met Jose, and he was like the second
Yeah.
guy I like had tried dating
Yeah.
after I basically said that,
Yeah.
or I think he was the first.
See?
So,
But I
it's
think when
kinda
you set that
funny.
intention that you're
Yeah.
gonna do that, it's like you're
so
putting it
weird,
out there
though.
that you're more
It was not
open.
what I expected at all.
And you, yeah. I think that's when you find the people that you're gonna be with for a long time.
Yeah.
Is when you're in that space where it's like, I feel good by myself.
Yeah.
Those people come.
Yeah.
When you're constantly searching and looking for it, it's almost like you're putting it out there energetically that you don't have that thing and you need something
Exactly.
to fulfill you. It's like when you're fulfilled by yourself,
Yep.
the universe brings what you need. I truly believe that. Same with like that money spell jar I gave you guys. Like putting it out there, like I'm going to receive this much money. And just, like, saying a statement like that and putting intention into it, it's like, that starts to come. The universe provides, you know? Because you're telling yourself you already have it.
Yeah.
It's like your subconscious believes it.
Yeah.
It's The Secret.
And we'll find a way to make it happen, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen The Secret or read
No,
the book,
I've never read it, but I've heard
I've
about
always
it.
wanted to. I kind of have, but not
That's
really.
what it is.
Yeah.
It's just basically acting as if
It's,
you already
the law of
embody
attraction.
something.
Yes. Right.
And that shit happens, for sure.
Yeah, I believe in that.
Like, my mom broke her femur when she was 16 in a motorcycle accident, but she said up until that point, she always wished that she'd, like, break a limb so she could wear a cast to school.
Really?
So she's like, I'm convinced that I manifested that.
See?
This is like so funny, but I feel like it's true. Okay,
Yeah.
So my mom and my sister always had big boobs, and I was like so weird about it for some reason. I was like, I don't want to get big boobs. Like, they were always bugging me about it because I was like the youngest girl, you know, and my sister she's 3 years older than me. She got really big boobs, and so when I was supposed to get boobs, they were like always bugging me about it. And they're like, you're gonna get them and they're gonna be huge. And so I feel like I manifested, like I literally made my body not get boobs.
Yeah.
There you go.
I believe
Like
that
I have like really little boobs, but what's so funny is I have a butt, and nobody in my family has a butt. Like my sister.
It all went to your ass and stuff.
Yeah, because I like told my body like I'm not gonna get boobs, but the fat had to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So it went to my butt.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Isn't that funny?
I wish I had a butt or boobs.
I think about that all the time.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I believe that. You probably did.
I feel like I really did. And when it happened too, because like they were always like, oh, you didn't get boobs. My sister's like, yeah, you're flat. And then I got a butt, and I was like, I think I accidentally did this to myself. Which I wasn't mad about it. I still don't care. I'm like, I'm fine with how I look, like whatever. But yeah. I was like aware that I did it on accident. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
See, I manifested boobs in the way of paying for them when I was freaking 18.
Yeah, there you go.
That's so
18?
stupid. They, like,
I didn't know you were that young.
yeah, I was 18. And, like, how is that legal? I was a freaking
Do you regret
child.
getting them?
Yes and no. Like,
It's both.
I don't, because during that time, I was doing what I felt I needed to do to be attractive, which is really fucked up. Like, come on.
But I was
It's so normal though.
I was
all
18.
do it.
Yeah, and
we
I was
all
like,
do.
I had so many limiting beliefs. Like, if I just looked this way, if I just worked out more, if I just had bigger tits, if my hair was long, if da-da-da, all these things. And so that was one of the things I could buy.
Right.
And it did get me a lot of attention for a really long time. And now, like, I wish I would have just had a chance to love myself the way I was. Like, I was 18 years old when I got a boob job. That should not be legal. Like, I was a child.
Yeah.
It blows my
You know
mind.
what's interesting to me about like plastic surgery and like Botox and everything like that is I feel like the argument to get it is everybody's like, well, I'm not happy with the way that I look, so and I can do something to
About
change.
it.
Yeah, like so why wouldn't I do it? Because it's gonna make me feel better. And I totally get that. Like I understand where they're coming from, but then it's like exactly what you just said. Like, but why can't you just learn to love yourself the way that you are now?
Yeah.
It's
You know what I
because-
mean?
Well,
Because you're not going to get that love necessarily.
No.
I don't know. Like, do you feel like it made you love yourself more once you did have them? Or, like, what do you...
In a really messed up way, yes, but only because of the attention I would get.
Yeah.
It was like a topic of every party I went to. It was like, oh, Alayna got her boobs done, and then everyone would look at my boobs, and like, I mean, God, we were kids, we were partying.
It's like attention. It gives you attention.
Yes,
in
it
a
got
way.
me a lot of sexual attention in that way, which is fine, and like, I know now all the reasons why I was craving that back then, like just acceptance of me, you know, because my self-esteem was jacked up. I think most of our self-esteem is jacked up, especially at that age. But then now, being 28, I know for a fact that if I would have just stuck it out, I'd be stoked right now with my flat boobs.
Yeah.
Like, I could have loved myself. And now I'm like, I have these, and there's the whole thing of they can make you so sick. And, like, I've had experiences recently when I've felt pings from my intuition, like, you need to get these out.
Oh.
Yeah.
They need to come out.
Yeah.
But then I called and I got a
consultation.
Oh, no, they're the worst.
It's like
they don't want to take them out either.
They don't want to take them out. And they lie to you.
Yeah.
They literally lie to you so much.
It's more expensive to take them out than it is to get them put in.
Yeah, than it is
such bullshit.
by double. I paid $5,000 to get my boobs in at 18. They want 10 to take them out. How does that work? But they only want $5,000 to get them redone.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Like,
it's just their way of, like, basically making more money off of you. Because they pretty much will jack you up. Mm-hmm. It's messed up. My mom had a whole problem with it.
With her implants?
Yeah.
She
can't
did?
get
That was
into
a
it on
journey.
this podcast, but yes.
See, and I know people who have issues from it. Our Aunt Charity just got hers out and says she feels
so much better.
Yeah.
like anytime I bring it up to her, she's like, you need to do this. You got this. Like, I'm here for you. You'll feel so much better. And I know I will.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, well, what am I going to look like if I get them out? I mean, am I going to be more flat than I was before? Like,
well, what they told Charity is, like, if you get them out, you're not going to have any boobs.
Yeah, that's
so
what they
just be
told
aware
my mom,
that you're
too.
not going to have any boobs.
But that's what they say to you. And then
Yeah.
they'll, like, jack them up so that you have to go in and get them redone.
Yeah.
Like, that's how they, like, make more money off of you.
It's so messed up.
So,
know,
you just always want to tell them, like, oh, I'm just taking them out for, like, a year or something so that they don't jack you all up.
I'll
Yeah.
be back in a year to get them redone.
Just be like, my doctor said that I should, like, get them out to focus on my health for, like, 6 months or something.
Yeah, I'm having some health issues or something.
Exactly. And then be like, yeah, but I'm going to come back and get them put in bigger or something, like, to make them believe you.
Yeah.
That's so messed up. We can't even trust our doctors in today's world, you know?
And of course you can't trust the doctors
or dentists. Like, our cousin worked at the dentist that I went to as a kid my whole life, and she worked for them. And once she quit, she was like, he was doing work on people who didn't need it.
Yeah.
And just nasty, like, stuff that she knew that she saw. And I'm like, God, I've been going there for how long?
Yeah.
You know?
It's the whole healthcare system. That's a whole other conversation.
Good God.
Go into that forever.
Those are the types of things, though, in the whole COVID thing that I can't really, like, get super into because it sends me on, like, this awful downward negative
just
spiral.
doctors and
Just, not even just doctors, but just, like, society right now.
yeah.
And how lost we are in it and how dependent we are on it. And then what's happening with the government and how they faked it into they faked Biden into presidency. Like, it was all jacked up and not real. Like, there's so much evidence that it was.
It's so funny. Yeah.
But,
I mean, it's not funny, but it is kind of funny.
There's so much evidence that
there's so much evidence that it was rigged. Like, Biden did not win.
Yeah.
But
the whole thing is just fucked. Yeah.
They fudged it to where he won, and now, like, what he's trying to do and what he has done for our country, like, he's literally fucking us. And it's happening.
Basically, they do everything the opposite of what they say they're doing. And then it's, like, really weird.
And they try to hide it in the fine
Don't
print.
hate me because of this, everyone, but it's just...
We're just having a conversation.
We need to have a conspiracy episode where we just talk about all the outlandish
Try
shit.
to have an open mind. Everything that they said Trump did, they have done. And he didn't do it, basically.
Yeah.
It's all, like, the reverse. It's so fucking...
They gotta pin it on someone.
It's so crazy, though.
But they faked their way in.
I used to hate him so much.
They sent out this pandemic that's supposedly making everyone sick, but it's really not. And we're starting to figure that out, kind of.
Yeah.
But not.
Or
but
it is
there are
making
some
certain
sick
people sick,
Yeah.
but it's like...
But is that the flu?
But
Or
I don't
is
think that the
COVID?
fear is as big as they make it to be.
It's not.
It's this huge thing
not.
of have so much fear, and it's used as a form of control. Fear always is used as a form of control.
It is a form of control because
Because
everyone's
that
terrified.
lower
we're all scared.
vibration,
It's
yeah.
lower vibration,
Well, and now it's like, did you see what the White House put out? We talked about it last week. They said, all the vaccinated people, you've done da-da-da, and you've been great. All the unvaccinated people, you're going to have a season full of death of you and your family members and
crowded hospitals.
yeah, like literally threatened us. And it was like, you're going to treat us like that? Like, we're your people.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have our back.
We're in America. Like, we're the boss of you. That sounds fucked up.
Yeah.
But when they're like, we're frustrated with you, it's like, we voted you into office.
Yeah.
Or
we didn't, though.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is, like, fake anyway. But do you get what I'm saying?
Basic, 100%.
Like, you're not
you're supposed
the
to
fucking
assist
dictator.
us.
Like, you work for us. That's literally your job.
Yeah.
Like, you are the president. You're
and
the government. Like, that's how America works.
We pay you in taxes, and
exactly.
you're supposed to have our back. Instead, they're trying to tell us what to do and force us to get a shot, which... Who knows what the fuck is in that shot?
And honestly, if you decide that, you know, getting the vaccine is such a hot topic right now, but like...
I don't care either way.
If you decide to get the vaccine, great. If you feel good about that, great. If you don't feel good about it, great as well.
Yes.
Do whatever you feel is best for you and your situation and what you feel truly in your soul.
Well,
like, for me personally, I have not got vaccinated. None of us have.
Yeah.
I just feel... weird about it. I feel like there's something that I don't know, and I haven't even got COVID. Like, I've been fine. Like, and if I have got it, clearly I haven't noticed. Like, I don't need it. Like, I'm okay. I've been around so many people that have had it, and I'm okay. You know? So, honestly, I think whatever you decide to do is your own personal, decision.
Totally.
And no one can tell you that that's right or wrong.
We're all walking on the same path here. Like, just trying to feel safe. If that makes you feel safe, by all means,
exactly.
do it.
But that's the thing that frustrates me about the whole thing is I'm like, it's just free will.
Yeah.
Like, let everyone have their own free will, free choice. Like, I don't care what someone else does. Like, but don't...
Well, the flu shot's been free will for how long? Then all of a sudden
don't
COVID
shame people
comes
who
out.
aren't getting it or who
it
are.
Should be,
like,
I feel like it should be the same on both sides. Like, let's all just, like, let each other choose.
Yeah.
And it would be so much better if we would just do that. But that's the other thing is the government is going to keep pushing, too, and that makes other people think that that's the right way because the government is saying this is the right way when... Honestly, no one really fucking knows.
No,
okay?
nobody knows.
Nobody knows what's right or what's wrong.
knows.
None of us know as much information as there is out there. Nobody really knows what's going on. We know what the news says and what the government says, and we don't even know if that's real. So
Exactly.
We don't.
We know.
We all just need to live off the land, get some chickens, freaking chop some wood. That's where I'm at.
Chickens so bad.
Right?
Yeah, right.
I was telling Bryce that today. I'm like, we'd have eggs.
Yeah.
Every single day, fresh eggs
Oh my gosh.
No hormones, no anything.
My
Happy
neighbors-
ass chickens.
My neighbors have chickens and they bring me over eggs all the time.
Hell
and I feel
yeah.
so good eating like fresh eggs.
It's not poison food.
chicken.
It feels good. Yeah, you should, for real. Yeah.
I had a bigger yard.
I know, me too.
I think like that, the whole vaccine thing is important for us to talk about right now though. And like, I think that it's a very hot topic and everyone is so,
passionate about
it in
I just
every
don't want
way.
it to divide us anymore. Like,
That's the goal.
That's the goal of them.
Exactly.
The government
It's
that's the goal.
Yeah.
But I don't think the people are as divided as the government makes them all seem.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because think about it, like when we're all together and talking, everyone's like, wait, you think it's messed up too? Wait, I didn't agree with that either.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, so I'm not the only one who doesn't
just
agree.
Like the few people that are like so extreme and they're like the loud ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But
You know
that's
what
why
I
I think
mean?
us talking about this and our views on it is also loud and it is beautiful that we're putting it out there for people to know that this is a conversation that needs to be had. As uncomfortable as it is and as, other people have different views on it, like the conversation needs to be had and it needs to be normalized that it's okay
to talk about.
Yes, it's okay to talk about.
And
it's
question.
Okay.
And
yes,
I guess
and
if you
question.
hate us after this, then it just wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't meant to be. You weren't supposed to listen to our podcast.
Anyway, I guess.
Which is okay also.
It is okay.
We don't judge you if you don't agree.
I still love you.
Yep.
And I love you if you got vaccinated, and I love you if you didn't get vaccinated.
Right.
Wait, did I say that right?
Agreed.
Yep, you did. Yep, and that's where we're at. That's where we're at in our, world right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go, Brandon.
Well, no, we don't
What
have
did
to
you
get
say?
into
Let's
that.
go what?
Brandon.
Who's Brandon? Oh, no.
Sadie doesn't know any
It's
of the
good.
stuff.
It's good.
I don't
It's
know what
okay.
you're talking about.
So,
You don't have to talk about it right now. If you
I don't know exactly.
No, I just
like,
don't know if more people are going to hate us for talking about it.
Basically, people were chanting in a crowd. I don't know what crowd, because
It was
honestly,
like the NASCAR championship or something like that. Some like racing.
They were
race car
screaming,
thing.
"Fuck you, Biden!" And it sounded like "Let's go, Brandon."
Well,
So
the
then-
guy's name was Brandon, and the news is like they're all just like fucking liars, and so the news reporter is like, "Oh, that's great! They're chanting, 'Let's go, Brandon!'" But really, it was like super obvious
they
that
were
they're
saying.
like, "Fuck Joe Biden,"
Yeah.
and so she just played it off like, "Oh yeah, that's that's great. They're saying let's go Brandon. So now it's basically like the nice way of saying fuck Joe Biden.
Oh my gosh.
And in all reality, Joe Biden probably doesn't even know what the fuck he's doing. He's being like,
well, clearly he
Well,
doesn't.
it's sad.
He's a puppet.
Sometimes I feel really sad for him. I'm like, I think it's like elder abuse.
it is.
Like, it's fucked up.
All of it is.
He's like,
who knows? He
not
might be a
easily
robot.
I feel like he is a robot or something.
Do you ever see people on TV like that? I'm like, oh my god, he's for sure a robot. Yeah. There's no way that's a real person.
Can we talk about Mark Zuckerberg?
No. My
oh,
he
shit.
scares me. His eyes are like just black.
Wait,
oh
isn't he
he's the Facebook
I was going to say the owner of Facebook and Instagram.
Me.
Yeah.
And he's either a robot or like a scary lizard.
I don't even know what he looks like.
A scary lizard.
Well, did you guys see the weird Meta thing that he changed? Because Facebook changed their name to Meta, and that's like a whole fucked up thing too.
I've heard about it, but I haven't really looked into it.
I don't know if we should talk about it.
We probably
I
should.
can also say, like,
it scares me.
You know, none of us here are, like, conspiracy theorists. Like, we're not, like, I mean, Jessy dives into a lot of it, but also she's very open-minded, and I think we all are, too. And I think with conspiracy, you know, a lot of people have one opinion and one opinion only, and I think that is the problem. Like, we all just need to be open to hearing things that are uncomfortable for us to hear, just so that we can sit with it to see how we feel on our own. Like, I think that's important, to, like, put yourself in those places of hearing things that you might not necessarily believe in.
Yeah.
But you're open to hearing about it and, you know,
Yeah.
then see how you feel about it after
how
you
I
have the
feel,
information.
even if I'm talking about something and someone's like, well, it's not really like that. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I don't know.
Open
I'm
to
never
that too.
just like black and white.
You're never like, this is true and this is not.
Exactly.
I'm always down to listen to everybody because I just get snippets. Like, I don't know if any of what I just said on here is true.
And I just don't give a fuck about, like, arguing about it with somebody. That's just, if you're not going to have, like, an open mind about it. Like,
you're not going to get anywhere.
No, this is what it is. This is what the report said. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just acknowledge that we all
Sorry, that makes
know.
It sound like I'm not open-minded. But
no, it
my
doesn't.
point is just that I don't care about arguing about it at all. Like, I'm down to, like, listen to somebody else's, like, view of it. But
you can't change everyone's opinion. And if somebody is that, like, hard-headed that this is what they believe, then you're not going to change them anyway. So what's the point?
Yeah.
You know, you can say your piece and that's it.
Like, okay, yeah, that's cool that you think that. Like,
yeah. Just being open-minded, living in the question. That's the name of our podcast for a reason because, you know, that's what we all need to do. And I honestly think if we're all open-minded to hearing other people's opinions that we don't necessarily agree with, it could literally heal a lot of our disagreements and our, you know, like you were saying, like our whole country is like splitting down the middle. And honestly, it could heal a lot of things if people were just open to hearing somebody else's opinion. You know?
I think, too, like, looking at people as people.
Yeah,
right? Like, a lot of it, like, comes from social media, which is annoying. And I think on social media, people don't really, like, look at you as, like, an actual person.
Yeah.
It's like your account or something.
It's like what you're portrayed as.
You're not, like, seeing the person's face. Like, people always say this stuff, like, with bullying, you know, like cyberbullying and stuff, because it's easier to hide behind a keyboard, which I feel like is true. But also, it's not so extreme like that. It's just like if somebody makes a video even of themselves talking, like I feel like it's way more personal and different than somebody like typing out their whole view.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I
selfie.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you forget that that's like a person and that you love them and like you're friends with them, you know, because you're just seeing like their dumb little views typed out or whatever. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep, I get what you're saying. I think too, like, you know, thinking about, like, hearing people's opinions that you don't necessarily believe in, I think that is so important, especially on social media. Like, we can doctor our feed to have only what we want to see, but honestly, I think it's important to have other people, you know, that you follow that you don't necessarily agree with.
Yeah,
I think that is also really important. I think it's different to have, you know, be deleting people that you, like, that make you feel bad. Like, if you're seeing stuff that makes you feel horrible about yourself, then don't follow them. But if someone has a differing opinion than you do, you know, your instinct is to be like, oh, I don't believe that, let's block them. But honestly, that stuff is very important to hear, and to hear other people's opinions, so you're not just in your one lane all the time, so that you can have a broader perspective and gather more information so you can truly, you know, like, analyze what you believe. I think that is so important.
Yeah. It's like what, last week, the Ram Dass.
Yeah.
Like, if you think you're free, no escape is possible. If you're not willing to look at other sides of stories or opinions, you're always going to be stuck in your one lane.
Right. Yep. That's on our first episode,
by the way. It's just like with religion, too. Like, Mormonism. All of us, well, me and Sadie growing up Mormon, you're just kind of taught, have faith, don't ask questions, don't ask.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
That makes no sense
It's
at all.
It's a form of control, you know?
It is.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It is sad.
But I feel like the Mormon religion has a lot of potential, but...
It does.
They have really good standards and everything.
There's a lot of things that are messed up
in every religion there is.
So
it's all about
course,
control,
every
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's all about having the masses believe one thing and one thing only. And if you ask questions or believe something that religion doesn't necessarily believe in, then you're shamed, and that's not good, and the devil has a hold of you. It's just so fucked up. Yep. It's all fear-based. Like we were saying, everything is fear-based. Like, have fear. But you know what? Honestly, like, not being in any religion and being in this place that I'm in right now, like, I have so much less fear about the world when you're in a place of questioning everything and of just, you know, living as connected as you can be, you know?
Yeah.
Living in that state. Like, I just feel a lot less fear.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a beautiful thing. What are you laughing at? What are you thinking?
Well, I've been, like, weirdly connected.
Yeah.
To the universe lately. Like, you know, synchronicities are always, like, a thing, and normally you see kind of, like, the same number over and over again.
That's happening to me a lot, too.
I've been having it, like, really weird lately.
Me
like,
too.
This is just an example, but it's happened so many times. Like, yesterday morning, I was on my phone, like, trying to get my eyes to open, so I was, like, on Instagram. That's what I always do, because waking up is so hard for me, like, getting my eyes open.
You gotta, like, get your brain
stimulated. If I, like, can get some brightness on my eyes, then I can wake up. So I was, like, on Instagram, and I don't even know how I ended up on this profile. This makes me sound like a weirdo, but I was on some girl's profile, and her name was, like, Bianca, and I had just opened it, and I was like, wait, what's her name? And Jose just woke up, too, and he, like, was playing some video on his phone, and I was like, oh, it's Bianca, like, just thinking this in my mind, and then his video starts playing, and it was like, Bianca, da-da-da-da-da, something weird like that, and then, like, later that day, I can't remember, he was telling me, like, something about, like, 410, like, yeah, it would be like 410, and then literally I clicked the time on my phone. I was like, okay, like, we were talking about something, so I, like, opened my phone, and it was 410. Like, just, like, weird shit like that all the time. And then there was something else, like, names, though, too, like, all these names, like, I'll be, like, saying a name, or thinking of a name, like, I don't know, just, like, weird shit like that. And then he literally is watching a video, and that name comes up in it. It's so weird.
What the heck?
Little psychic things.
Yes, and then this was just what I was laughing about is today. So our, like, when we do the orders at the restaurant, there's, like, 5 numbers, I think, but we only use, like, the last 3 because it's, like, so long.
Yeah.
And there was this order 666, and I kept, like, avoiding writing it, because I was like, oh, it's 666, I don't really want to write it, and then I was like, whatever, it doesn't even matter anyway, like, it's whatever I make the number be.
Yeah.
But, so I, like, had that in my mind, and I let it go, and whatever, and then, like, 2 minutes later, we got this Grubhub order that came in, and someone wrote on there, and they're like, please ask for the devil's spit sauce.
Oh my god.
And it was just, like, the weirdest thing.
Just weird
synchronicities. So, all of these weird synchronicities.
Honestly, like, synchronicities is such a big topic, and, like, it can happen in any way.
We should do a whole podcast.
We should do a whole
have we not
podcast
done
on
a
synchronicities.
podcast about that?
I think we should do that when we have Tim on.
We should.
Because he can talk about the numerology and what it actually means, like seeing repeating numbers, because that's a big way that synchronicities show up. And a lot of it is just like angel numbers too, and just like the universe or your angels or your spirit guides or even just like your higher self letting you know that like you're in tune or you're connected.
You're on the right path.
You're on the right path.
Yeah,
and honestly, when you do feel like you're on the right path and like you're trying to get to your soul and, like, your true self, like, you're constantly working to get to your true self, I think that's when synchronicities happen the most. It's like, you have that intention of, like, raising your vibration, and you start to raise your vibration, and numbers start to show up, or weird synchronicities like that start to happen, and it just... It's like a little nudge from the universe. Like,
you're in the right spot. Keep going.
You're doing a good job. Keep going.
That's exactly.
Yes.
Every time I see it, I'm like, okay, I'm good.
I
know. Get out of my head. I'm good.
Yeah.
These were just the weirdest ones for me.
That is so weird.
Because it was like all of these,
it's like weirdly
random
specific.
ass, just like the weirdest synchronicities where normally it is like what you're saying, like just the number, like the repeating numbers and stuff like that. But even that devil comment was just so weird because we don't sell like sauce that's called that or anything. Like they just wanted like they wanted hot sauce is what they were saying, but they had to specifically put in there like the devil's spit sauce. And
isn't
I'm like,
it
what
so
the
weird?
Hell? Yeah, it was so weird.
And normally, like, your brain might not really like register that, but because there was like this weird synchronicity, it's like, oh, that's connected. It's this weird thing that happens in your brain, and it's like, wait, what?
So I've been having a lot of that too. Like even tonight at the restaurant, I noticed it, but I had one today too. So. And there are a few different things. Like, I went through this phase where someone had told me, it was someone who had, like, a gift or whatever, told me that, like, the elephant was my spirit animal. And for whatever reason, I kept getting elephants popping up. Like, I got this little gift bag from my sister-in-law. It was an elephant pendant. And my friend Tori sent me a thing in her book. And she was like, I just pulled this for you. And it's the elephant. And the elephant's guiding you. So that was happening for a while. And so I kind of, like, made this connection. So I have little elephants in my house and stuff. And then also butterflies. I have tattoos of butterflies, and I love them. And then one time, I had driving, I would always see this truck that said Angels Painting. And for whatever reason, like, shout out to Angels Painting. I'm sure you're amazing painters. But I just kept seeing the word angel. And I was like, Angels Painting. And then... it was only a few months ago, I left work, and I was like, if I see an Angels Painting truck tonight, like, I know that
is so weird. Right Angels Painting.
Yeah. And then one pulled right in front of me. And you don't see them a lot. Like, it has to be one family that does it, but it pulled in front, and I was like, that's it.
That's so cool.
Well, today, I was reading my journal from 2011, and it said, we were in Lake Powell. I'm in Lake Powell. It's been so fun. Today we went boating. We went down this really cool cove, and it was so crazy. I could see an elephant, an angel, and a butterfly on the walls in the thing. And this was 10 years ago.
Yeah, before you even
like,
freaking knew about it.
Before I even knew about any of it.
You're giving me the chills.
Today, in my journal.
So
and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you give me
elephants, angels, and butterflies?
Honestly,
so
like, what is time?
Yeah. Is that, like, what?
Yeah.
Does that send you into a spiral ever? Like, oh, like that weird,
just, like I could not, when I saw those words today from 10 years ago, those three things in that cove, and I remember seeing them, it was amazing. Like, you know how Lake Powell is? It was like there's this big elephant, like, and we were in this huge cove, and I remember it now, but I'm like, I had no idea that meant anything. That's just what I saw 10 years ago.
Isn't it? It's kind of like your signs. It's almost like these are like your signs throughout life that are like things that bring you peace and like comfort. Like, I don't know.
Exactly. So now I'm like, you get it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's my stuff. Like,
so I had like a psychic reading with this psychic, and she's like so psychic. Like, some of the stuff she told me was just wild, but she was talking about how, like, roses. She was just like bringing up roses, and she's like, does that mean anything to you? And I'm like, well, that is my middle name. And she's like, well, I feel like your guides are gonna show you a rose today. Like, I just feel like they want you to know that, like, they're present and they're here, and like that you're gonna see a rose today. And so just be on the lookout for a rose. And I was just like, okay, like that was weird for me to kind of hear, and I was like, okay, like, I didn't really know if I believed it. I was being skeptical, and honestly, I think it's important to be skeptical in those situations because you're living in the question, okay? Yes. Like, you're being open to whatever it could be, and also not attaching too much to the fact that this is so true.
Yeah.
So, after that happened, I had to go to my work to go clean. I clean the lab on the weekends, the lab that I work at, and so I went in there to go clean, and it was right after my reading, and I just, like, kept thinking, like, okay, I guess I'm going to see a rose. And my eyes were kind of open to, like, I was just more aware of, like, what I was taking in, what I was seeing, and I was just driving to work, and I was like, oh, I wonder when I'm going to see this rose. Like, And I pulled up to my job, And I got out of my car, and right as I got out of my car, there was a plastic rose laying on the ground, like, right outside of my car. And I stepped out, and I was like, I saw it, and I had this flood of just, like, love and support and peace, and just, like, so affirmed that, like, I have spirit guides with me, and I have angels with me, and I have family members on the other side that are all, like, rooting for me over here. And, like, honestly, I think that sometimes when you feel like you need support from another support system that's not on the earth, you know, like you feel like you need that extra support, I think that it's okay to do things like that and be like, set the intention that I'm gonna see this thing today, and like, please give me a sign, and like, this is the sign I want to see, and like, if you see that thing, it is a sign. It truly is. See, like, I believe so cool. that. It was so beautiful. I love both of your
stories. Those are so cool.
Yeah, and I just sat there and I was blown away that this just happened. Like, I was like, what? Like, a plastic rose, and how did it even get here?
Yeah, that's so
weird. Did you save it?
No, I didn't. I should have. I picked it up and carried it with me in my car for a while, but eventually I tossed it because I was like, this was on the road. Like, I don't know where this has been. But it was so beautiful. I don't know. I think that,
Do you guys know the book, The Universe Has Your Back?
I feel like I've heard of that before.
Well, so I haven't even read it, but just going off of what you were saying, my sister's read it, and there's like this whole meditation that you do in there, and it's like finding your spirit animal or something like that.
Right.
And you like meditate, and I think you just like ask for it to like show itself.
Yeah.
And basically once you kind of like figure out what it is, then you can kind of do like what you were saying, like
show me
that exact same thing, like, okay, I'm gonna see this like 3 times today or whatever, and so you know that it was like meant for you to see, you know?
Right, 100%. And you can't like attach too much to it.
Yeah.
I think that kind of like repels it. It's like if you're too attached, then that's also a problem. You know what I mean? It's
I think it kind of ruins it. And you can't be like too on the lookout for it either, because when you're aware of it, like, you're going to see it.
Honestly, it's kind of like manifesting. Like, it is like manifesting. It's like we were just saying before, putting the intention out there, and like, you know, I think that when you like attach too much to it, that like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. It's like, you almost don't believe that it will happen. You know what I mean?
And you're kind of like setting yourself up for like...
Yes.
Disappointment, which sounds messed up.
Right.
But I feel like it's always good just to have no expectations. And that's part of like living in the question.
Put it out there. Yes. Yeah. But like, I'm going to see this today, and like, I just need a sign. If my guides can please send me, I see a rose today. Then like, that's all I want to see. And just put the intention, let it go. And then guess what? You're going to be so surprised when you see that rose, and all of that shit is going to be like, holy crap. Like, I am supported. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's such a supportive feeling, I guess.
I feel like that comes back to like being present, because if you're sitting there like being hyper aware of it, then you're not actually just like living in the moment and letting it come to you. You're like thinking like future almost, you know?
You're searching.
Instead of being in the moment and just... Right. So, we need to have an episode about manifestation, because I have like...
Have you guys heard of... I don't even know how to say his name. Eckhart Tolle?
Yeah.
Yeah. He is amazing, but he has a quote, and I don't know exactly what it is, but he talks about how when you want something, it just kind of reiterates the fact that you don't already have it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the law of attraction again.
Yeah, if you want something too bad, it just signifies you don't have it. So there's a lack there.
Right.
You know, so if you do want something, you just envision yourself already having it.
Or put yourself in the energy of having it. Like, we can talk about this on our manifestation episode too, but like, let's say I want like $1 million home, and like, that's something that I really want for myself. And also, it's okay to want those things. Like, it's okay to want them, but put yourself in the energy as if you already had that. Go and pretend like you are buying $1 million home, and go like tour a home, an open house, and just like get yourself in the energy of like, oh, this is where I would put all my stuff, and this, you know, getting yourself in the feeling of what you want, and that thing, like, that alone is so powerful to make yourself believe that you can have this one day. You know, like, I will be there one day. Like, that is so beautiful, you know, and it's such an easy, simple way to like manifest your reality and what you want. Like, I don't know. I totally believe in that.
I kind of I manifested myself becoming a trainer.
Yeah.
Like,
see?
I was just a member at that gym, and I was like, I want to be a trainer. And I just felt a connection to being a trainer. And then all of a sudden, it was like I was passing my course that I did for 12 weeks. And it was like, oh my God, I've taken this step.
Happening.
Holy shit. Before, I didn't even know that, like, I was going to do this. And, like, I had a feeling, but, like, I took the steps daily to make it happen, and then it happened, and I was like, what?
You guys, it's kind of like this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I've been wanting to do this for 2 years, and I kept, like, I had all these limiting beliefs around it. Like, how am I going to do it? How's it going to happen? And it's like, all of a sudden, we made this decision to just step into it and do it, even though we have no idea what we're doing. Yeah. And look how everything has just fallen into place. Like,
it's freaking crazy.
Yes, it is crazy, but it's so beautiful. Like, the universe is supporting us, like, trying to heal and, like, help ourselves while helping others. Like, honestly, it's such a beautiful thing. Everything's kind of been really seamless and just worked out. It's kind of wild. And now
we just, like, come up with the topics just like that.
Yeah, it's like what we're going through that week is what we're going to talk about. And it just is so easy and effortless. And, you know, we might go on a lot of tangents in these episodes. And, like, but I honestly think it's very authentic to where we are. And it's a beautiful way to heal with each other. You know, show up and talk about what's going on. And, like, also the real life things that happen when you're trying to heal and be aware and be awake and live in the question. Like, it is a big thing, you know?
It is.
It's like I was saying, it's like therapy for me almost.
Yes.
Like, even though it is taking time when I'm already, like, so busy, it's hard. But it's like every time I'm like, maybe I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm like, no, like, this is, like, good for me. And I feel like it's good for, I mean, hopefully going to be good for everyone, you know?
Yep. And resistance shows up when you're trying to do something beautiful for yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
That is a good way of saying it.
That is so true. It was just like the first time that we went on the floor for training to be a trainer.
Yeah.
I wanted to cry. And that day when I left, I was like, I want to not go back. Because I wanted to quit. And the old me would have quit.
Yep.
But then I was like, oh wait, like I have to step into the uncomfortable. I have to do this.
Oh, it's so freeing.
Once, like, what you're running from, you need to step into it. And now it's like, every Wednesday we go and we do it, and it's becoming easier. And I'm like, God, 3 times ago I wanted to cry and leave, and now here I am, like,
and when you
toughing
can just,
it out.
Yes, and when you can just be aware that, like, the resistance is going to show up when you're doing something good for yourself, it's almost like an affirmation that you are doing what you should be doing when it shows up. And
the
it's
harder
like,
it shows up.
That's true.
Yeah, and it's hard to get through, but once you push through it that one time, then things are going to support you again. It's just...
Yep.
Not to go on a whole other thing, and I feel like we can just, like, end it after this.
No, go ahead.
But I just feel like that, like, relates back to what we were talking about, like, a couple episodes ago, where it's almost like that, like, when you do resist and, like, give up, like, that is, like, the devil.
That is the devil. It's apathy.
It is.
Pity party, and I knew I couldn't do it, and, like, Yeah,
just giving up or doing anything that isn't...
good for your higher self.
Yeah, like, it's like, you know that it's good for you, but because it's, even though it's good for you, you decide, like, not to do it, like, you resist against doing it or whatever. Like, that is, like, to bring it all the way back to the beginning, it is self-sabotage.
Full circle.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
It is crazy.
There's always going to be resistance, and like Sadie said, step into it, go back, try again, fail, you're going to fail again. Like, you can't grow if you don't fail.
I actually really like messing up. I feel like that's how I learn.
It is how you learn. And life is cycles. And if you didn't go through those cycles of going up and down, when would you ever learn? When would you ever learn if you're just high all the time?
Yeah.
When would you ever learn if you're just low all the time? Like, you can get stuck in either place. But when you are just, like, trying to be present and just...
I think a lot of people get stuck in the comparison because we all, like, compare constantly with our society, and it's like, for instance, I look at people who are where I want to be, and for a long time I was like, God, I'm, like, jealous of these people, and then I realized I'm jealous because they're doing what I'm not doing, what I feel called to do.
Right? It's like, you're the one holding yourself back from doing it.
Yep.
That's the devil.
That's the devil. Self-sabotage.
I was like, wait, I can do that too. Why am I not? And the reason I'm not is the reason I'm feeling so insecure towards these people. Now I am one.
It's so true.
You know?
And we think so far into the future. Like, we think, like, oh, I can't do that because I have to do this to get there. But it's like, actually, if you just take that one small step every day to do that thing, even if it's something small that isn't going to get you there immediately, you are getting there. Like,
that was a huge lesson I learned in my life, in my long 28 years.
Yeah.
Because I would always see things as like 100 steps away. And I was like, how the fuck am I going to get clear down there 100 steps?
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, wait, no, just signing up for my National Academy of Sports Medicine training cert, just that. That was step one. Okay, step two is sitting down at my computer and opening it. Okay, check that off the list. I have 98 more.
Like, you just ride the wave.
It's almost just like going to the gym, right?
It is.
It's like getting yourself there is the hardest part. And then once you're there, you're not going to like work out for 10 minutes normally and leave. Like, you want to keep going once you start.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Just one little step right now. All I have to focus on is getting on these damn leggings. Put the leggings on. Okay, get the shirt now. You know, one little step.
Maybe that's something that everyone listening can try. Is just like when you
on the small.
Focus on the smokus.
Focus.
Focus on the small things, but also be aware of the resistance, and just be aware that when resistance shows up, it's because you are doing what you should be doing. And think of it that way. And so that when it shows up, it doesn't shut you down, that you can use it as a tool to push you forward instead.
I love that.
I think that's a beautiful way for us to end. How do you guys feel?
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening so much, and I hope that you continue to listen, and we're just going to keep showing up and talking about what's going on in our own lives, and eventually we'll have guests, and this is a beautiful journey that we're excited that all of you are following us, along.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Love you guys. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. See you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.